Operation Confidence proudly presents America's Invisible Heroes Talk Radio Show. Tune in weekly on Sundays from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time with your host, Consuelo Mackey. Co-host, Air Force veteran Matt Davidson. Announcers, Taylor Marcella and Brooke Gadesi. U.S. Army veteran and entertainment segment host, Charles Whitehead. U.S. Army veteran and strategies for host segment host, Dr. Kathy Cash. U.S. Army veteran and Lifeline for Women Veterans segment host, Martha Elena Varela. National Director of Faith Services, Chaplain, and Veterans in Recovery segment host, Anthony Acampora. And U.S. Air Force veteran and Incarcerated to Success segment host, Kevin Lewandowski. For more information or to be a guest on our show, email info@operationconfidence.org.
Operation Confidence, America's invisible hero, invisible hero.
Operation Confidence is a grassroots nonprofit. The organization's mission is to provide stable housing for veterans who have experienced homelessness, as well as providing a wide range of supportive services. To help accomplish our goal, a successful landowner has donated land for the project, a world-renowned architect has offered to design the houses, and construction classes from the local community colleges will take part in building the houses. Your support and donations are needed. To get involved, please visit our website at www.operationconfidence.org or email info@operationconfidence.com.
Hey, welcome everyone. And thank you for looking at and viewing and listening to Operation Confidence, our American Invisible Heroes Talk Radio Show. Yes, I'm your host, Consuelo Mackey, Executive Director of a grassroots nonprofit organization called Operation Confidence. I'm not a veteran, but my heart goes out to our American heroes, especially those with a disability and have experienced homelessness. For those that are new to the show, Operation Confidence Invisible Heroes was established to provide a platform for our veterans and their families to be able to share resources, heartfelt stories, challenges, and accomplishments. Now, we're going to, we have a new format for the show, American Invisible Heroes Talk Radio Show. New format is each week we will highlight one of our co-hosts and their guests. I'm going to turn it over to board member Taylor, I'm going to say Marcella, well, Taylor Richardson Marcella, who will introduce our co-host for today. Take it away, baby girl.
We have U.S. Air Force veteran Matt Davidson, who is the board vice president. We have U.S. Army Reserve veteran Charles Whitehead, who is a board member and entertainment host and investigative reporting. Last but not least, we have U.S. Navy veteran Calvin Poole and his monthly segment, Helping Blinded Veterans Help Blinded Veterans.
Okay, we want to say all of us, our board members, co-hosts, oh, we're so happy to see you, Matt.
Yes.
Matt's here, yay.
All right, Matt.
Welcome back, Matt.
Welcome
Been
back,
missed.
We miss you, Matt. You've been gone quite a while.
I'll be glad to be back.
Yeah, so happy to have you. Okay, so next week is Veterans Day, and we're going to let Taylor just make an introduction of what the holiday is all about, and then we're going to turn it over to Matt. He has a lot to tell us about the upcoming Veterans Day.
Yes, ma'am. Like Connie said, Veterans Day is November 11th. And is an American holiday that honors all who have served honorably in the United States Armed Forces. Matt, take it away.
Okay. Originally, I wanted to invite Lieutenant Colonel Tom Lasser, U.S. Army and Vietnam veteran. But today is Tom's daughter's birthday. And I told him, I said, children are number one priority. So you don't need to be here.
Right.
But I thought I would, since Tom operates and conducts the Veterans Day event at Veterans Park in Redondo Beach from 1 p.m. on Saturday the 11th. I wanted to talk a little bit about what he's providing for all veterans and all who care about veterans at the Redondo Beach, the park, Veterans Park. He's going to have his keynote speaker is Colonel Kenneth Huey, U.S. Air Force fighter pilot and prisoner of war in North Vietnam for 6 years. He's also going to have Congressman Ted Lieu, elected officials, veterans, and dignitaries. Music will be by the 562nd Air Force National Guard Band. And then at the end of all of this will be a barbecue done by the Elks Lodge, free to all veterans and first responders. I told Tom that I would mention all of these things in case anybody lives in and around Redondo Beach and would like to attend. They'd be most welcome. Also wanted to mention that there are over 400 free events for veterans on Veterans Day. And to find out all of them, just check out VA Vet Resources on Google, and they'll have them all there. For example, they'll have November 9th, the free breakfast with a tall Starbucks at the Patriot Cafe at Long Beach, VA. And on Saturday, November the 11th, there'll be retail discounts, free meals, and other offers at the Long Beach VA. And the Veterans Day celebration continues on November 10th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There'll be a car show, motorcycles, food, music, and different veteran organizations available. If you live in Texas, there's going to be a free weekend for fishing and hunting with other veterans. And there's a number there. It's 806-346-7248. Now, I know that our show gets around. I wouldn't be surprised if we got listeners in Texas that may like to go fishing or hunting on that day.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on, but first and foremost, check out that Google site at VA Resources, Vet Resources, and you'll find out everything that they've got going for you. See, America wants to say thanks for all of your service and sacrifices. And you earned them, you earned the thanks, and now's your chance to get some recognition, and you really should have it. And that's my tune for today.
That's great. Thank
on
you.
Veterans Day.
That's going to be next week, so that's going to be great. You'll have more to share next week, too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, take it away, Taylor.
Yes, ma'am. We have U.S. Navy veteran Calvin Poole is the past president of the Tennessee Regional Group of the Blinded Veterans Association, or BVA. He is currently the Secretary-Treasurer for the Tennessee Regional Group of BVA and Regional BVA Ambassador. He is also the chairman of the BVA for the Golden Age Games. Calvin is a co-founder and president of the Executive Board for the Tri-State Adaptive Sports Association, or TASA. The purpose of TASA is to help improve the quality of life for persons who are physically or mentally challenged through adaptive sports. TASA currently offers archery, bowling, goalball, and tandem cycling. TASA can also provide many adventure sports on demand, such as cornhole, bocce, and beat ball. You can contact them at 901-304-7440. Again, that's 901-304-7440. Or visit their website at tasaweb.org. Again, that's TASA web.org.
Okay. So we're coming back on here.
Okay.
All right. We're going to go to Charles. Charles, you're going to introduce
Lonnie.
Lonnie. Go for it, Lonnie.
All right. And before I do that, let me just say about Veterans Day. Veterans Day will be 1 year to the day that my mother passed. You know,
Oh my. On
So-
Veterans Day?
on Veterans Day. My father was a veteran, so so he was getting so we celebrate him on Veterans Day, but then my mother passed on Veterans Day 1 year ago, and she called all of the members in the family who were either active or veterans on Veterans Day. She would call everybody, so it's kind of befitting that she passed on Veterans Day 1 year. It'll be 1 year.
That's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about Calvin's guest today, Mr. Lonnie Bedwell. Blind extreme sports. He's a blind extreme sport athlete. Lonnie Bedwell is a National Geographic 2015 Adventure of the Year. He has kayaked some of the most challenging whitewater in the world and is responsible for the first blind descents of Africa's fabled Zambezi rivers, Batoka, George, and West Virginia. I know I jacked that up, but it's like
Got it.
Gorge and West Virginia world-renowned Gauley River. Okay. Prior to May of this year, Lonnie was best known for his first blind descent of the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon, an effort successfully completed in 2013 as part of a team of boaters assembled by Team River Runner. A command performance in the Grand Canyon in 2014 resulted in the Adventure of the Year nomination. A former Navy petty officer, Lonnie was critically injured in 1997 in a hunting accident that instantly took his sight. Nevertheless, he raised 3 daughters as a single father, teaching them all to hunt and fish, and against all odds, to drive. Once the girls graduated from high school, Lonnie continued to challenge himself, ultimately becoming a renowned extreme sport athlete. When the threshold for running the Grand Canyon was placed at 1,000 kayak rolls, he took his donated kayak to the pond on his farm and rolled it 1,500 times. So that's 500 more times than the threshold. The rest is history. Lonnie attempting to climb the highest peaks on all 7 continents and has successfully completed Kilimanjaro in Africa, Aconcagua in South America,
He'll tell you how to pronounce that.
Denali in North America, and on May 22nd of this year, he summited Mount Everest in Asia. These journeys require dedicated teamwork and high-stakes problem solving, and underscore the energy and passion that Lonnie brings to his audiences. Lonnie also rock climbs, and he's an avid downhill skier when he has time away from roofing work in his hometown of Dugar, Indiana. Lonnie's mission is to motivate and inspire others to embrace life with confidence and courage. Lonnie is dedicated to helping others to enjoy full lives, and while he is an advocate for children and veterans with disabilities, blindness does not define either him or his efforts on behalf of others. Lonnie has appeared on the Today Show, Steve Harvey, and Breaking Bobby Jones television show, and has been featured in the documentary films Field of Vision, Dreamline Blind, Long River Home, and countless other publications. He's the author of the award-winning book 226, The Length and Miles of the Colorado River Stretched Through the Grand Canyon. That's the name of the book, 226, and shares his passion for life and adventure with audiences around the country. All right.
Wow.
I'm like, that little stuff that I do is nothing. See, this is big stuff, and so I'm glad you did good. I'm speechless now. You got
I
a lot
know
of
we
confidence.
all are. You go, Lonnie. Calvin, I'm gonna let you
Uh-huh.
take it away from here. This is your guest, and
Well,
you talk. You give some presentation about Lonnie, and then we'll turn it over to Lonnie. Okay.
okay. Well, thanks, and thanks for everybody for tuning in today and to our program. And I want to thank Operation Confidence for allowing us the opportunity to present today. I met Lonnie a couple of years ago, and it's just been a fascinating journey, just knowing him by phone and physically meeting him. He's been an inspiration to me. He gives me that drive to keep moving. Um, Last month, it was uh, Disability Awareness Month, and around the country, a lot of the VA medical centers did White Cane Day celebrations, and here in Tennessee, we did one at the Lieutenant Colonel Luke Weathers VA Medical Center, formerly known as Memphis VA Medical Center. Luke Weathers was the Tuskegee Airman. So we had a White Cane Day celebration there. We had the opportunity to go to San Diego last month to work with the people at San Diego Child Athlete Foundation to also commemorate the White Cane Day celebration. But anyway, I won't take that away from Lonnie. I just want to introduce Lonnie as a friend. And Lonnie, has been an extreme inspiration for me. And you can let the people know a little bit about yourself, Lonnie.
Thank you, Calvin. I appreciate it.
Lonnie, you is inspiration for all of us.
Yeah.
You're like a super dude.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I truly just tell people there's nothing special about Lonnie Bedwell other than he's just been blessed with opportunity. And when presented with opportunity, he tends to say, yes, let's try this. I am completely 100% lights out blind. And me and the guy I was in the hunting accident with were still really good friends. I took a full shotgun blast to the face at about 9 steps and just instantly took my eyesight. And I tell my buddy he's much better looking to me now than he used to be. So
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But, it's since I was raising my daughters, I didn't go to a blind rehab center until my youngest daughter graduated high school, and that was 2010, 2011. And while I was at the Hines VA Blind Rehab Center up in Chicago, they heard a little bit of the backstory, me getting into building houses after I lost my eyesight. Helped build over 30 homes, countless garages, decks, you name it. I don't know how many roofing jobs I've done. And then, I still use a chainsaw. Matter of fact, I've been the last 2 weeks running a chainsaw 8 hours a day, probably several days, helping a good friend of mine clear up some brush and stuff, and mow. So they heard this backstory. And while I was up there at the Blind Rehab Center, they asked me, they said, Lonnie, we know that blind people snow ski, but we've never done it here as recreational outing. And we need something to do for these younger veterans as they're coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. Will you be our guinea pig? And I said, twist my arm. I said, twist my arm. If they can do it, we can do it. And I didn't do any of these adaptive sports till after I lost my eyesight. I didn't ski, kayak, rock climb, mountaineer, none of it. And so I went and did that. And then there was 4 younger vets that were there at one of the events, and one of them was asked to go later on that summer to go water skiing, sailing, and cycling. And he told is with the Wounded Warrior Project, and he wanted me to go. And they told me, he said, Lonnie's not a post 9/11 veteran, he can't go. He told them, he said, you don't understand. He's blind, you're not. If he comes, I'll go and try it. If he doesn't come, I'm not going to try it. So they asked me to go as a special guest. I went and did that. And then it just kind of blew up from there for me. I started getting asked to go to a lot of events because they knew I'd say, let's try this. Blindness, it's a part of us, but it doesn't define us unless we allow it to. Just like where we're from, how we're raised, our time in the service, our whole entire past is a part of us, but it doesn't have to define who we are, where we're going to go, what we're going to do, and the life we're going to live. So,
wow, beautiful.
Go ahead.
This is beautiful what you're saying.
Yeah. And so, it's just kind of, the snow skiing then took me out to Steamboat Springs, Colorado, where the 5th day, as everyone says, skis my life. I went from skiing little bunny hills to my first green slopes to my first blue slopes to my first black slope. Just with a little bit of innovation. Using
us not skiers, what does that mean? The last one is when you went off the mountain.
It's steeper and steeper and steeper as you go from green. It's flatter to blue. It's steeper. Black, it's even steeper. Than you got like double black diamonds.
And nobody's out there with you. You just flying down the hill by yourself?
Well, oh no, they're ringing a cowbell out in front of me, and I'm chasing the cowbell down the mountain. Been clocked at slightly over 60 miles an hour chasing a cowbell out in Aspen, Colorado, and I don't ever want to do it again. But but that led me then to an event at Disabled American Veterans Winter Sports Clinic, actually, where I was introduced to mountaineering and kayaking and some rock climbing on Climbing Wall. And so I was
Calvin
the first
does that too, huh, Calvin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was the first blind person to climb rock climb our nation's first national monument, which is Devil's Tower out in eastern Wyoming.
Wow.
And then like I said, I went to kayaking, took me out to Montana with Team River Runner, where I was introduced to my first whitewater. While I was out there, the executive director of Team River Runner, Joe Mornini, he asked me, he said, Lonnie, how'd you like to be the first blind veteran to kayak the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon? And it gave me a dream, and then I thought, what a vision. So when my parents asked me, Lonnie, why do you have to do this? All the things you've done, I told them, I said, I know I'm going to be guided by all these other combat injured veterans. Said they give me their all. So not only our country, but they give me their all, and they deserve my best. Every paddle stroke I make will be an effort to pay them back for some of what they sacrificed for me. And we didn't know it would be possible. It had never been done before, but we did it. And I was privileged enough to paddle the last 4 miles of the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon with the American flag flying off my back, surrounded by these other disabled veterans, and we did it. And so then, with the snow skiing and the kayaking, with Joe and them, since we did that, it kind of blew up, and we started introducing more veterans to kayaking. I think we've got over 75 blind veterans, and I don't know how many other disabled veterans introduced to kayaking. They've started these out-of-sight programs all around, which is cool. And Steamboat, I convinced Steamboat Springs into creating just programs for just blind veterans to go skiing, and got acquainted with the Adaptive Sports Center out in Colorado to do that. And the Adaptive Sports Center in Crested Butte, Colorado, they asked me and Steve Baskus, another blind veteran, they said, we'd like to get blind veterans mountaineering. We've never done it, and we'd like to see if we can climb some of these 14,000 peaks. Will you be our guinea pig? Twist my arm. Let's do this. So now they've, they hold clinics and programs out there to do that. And it's just been kind of crazy. So it's my goal. I took it as my next duty assignment, if you will, mission to coordinate with all these programs, as many as I can find that are good quality programs, and introduce as many people, blind veterans mainly, but all disabled veterans and kids to these programs, and get them out there and show them once again what's possible. This blindness does not define us. Our injuries do not define us, or it doesn't define us. And So I think, and I helped create a program back here, a nonprofit back here called Heroes New Hope Foundation, where we take blind, disabled children and veterans hunting and fishing as well. Turkey hunting and deer hunting. We got a deer hunting event coming up here in a couple of weeks at no expense to their own. So I just shake my head. I live a very surreal, humbling life, but I push myself to the limits for a reason, for sure.
Well, we sure need you on our team, Mr. Lonnie. My gosh, you're just so amazing. I'm quite sure Calvin told you about who we are. We're very small, very humble, nonprofit, and we're looking for someone such as yourself, especially with your building background, to assist us, even if it's over the internet or on Zoom. But our mission is to build the teeny houses, starting out with teeny houses for our veterans, and we've been given 10 acres of land here in San Bernardino, California, and we have an architect that's very world renowned that's offered to design. But we need somebody like you on the team, making sure we have everything with Calvin, with our blind veterans. That's so important, Calvin's going to help us with the architectural plans too.
Yeah, because Fred, is it possible that I've got a team that might want to come out and visit the site and kind of take a hands-on look at it? Is it possible that maybe we can come out?
Of course.
Take a look. Yeah.
Sure. You're coming out for more than just coming out to see the land. You're going to be involved with with Nico and them?
Well, no, we want to basically come and see the land you're talking about.
Okay, sure.
When you talk about building that, so we can get a kind of hands-on look at what the situation is. Yeah.
Okay, it's nothing but land for sure.
Go and visit the dirt.
Huh?
You want to go? You want to check out the dirt?
Just want to look at the infrastructure, Charles, see what's around there, kind of get a feel
for it.
Just more land.
It's like I said, we need to get all these disabled veterans building these houses too.
That's what I want to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's exactly what I want. Something like Habitat for Humanity, but with all disabled veterans. That would be absolutely fabulous. I need that.
And then too, Consuelo, I do want to thank Lonnie personally, because he got me involved in kayaking, and he was able to get me to go to Key Largo, Florida, a couple years ago for sea kayaking. And I've been kayaking ever since, Lonnie. So
we've seen your pictures. You're amazing. I mean, you're such amazing individuals you are, guys.
And also, I want to say as well, oftentimes we forget about my most important team player in the background, Michonne Harrison.
No, we didn't forget about it.
Forget about the time Michonne be over there cracking up,
I was just waiting for an opening. Michonne is our girl. We didn't forget about you. I'm still waiting on those pictures.
Yeah. I think we got Miss Michonne to.
Michonne does everything. I mean, we talking jumping.
I think we introduced Miss Michonne to snow skiing and kayaking as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that's the first time I met Lonnie was out in Montana, and I didn't know who he was. I just heard about him, and I was getting settled in my room, and the door was stuck, and this guy came in and just went to the door and went down and got it unstuck, and he's like, it was like that last year. And so when he walked out, I said, "Who is that?" They said that was Lonnie. I was like, "But Lonnie is completely blind." He walked straight in to this room, went right to the door, knew that it was what to do to get it unstuck. And I was like, oh my God. And then when we got out on the water with him, and we have this saying, it's like on me, so you can follow in the water, you track the voice. Lonnie was doing what I still haven't mastered, I've been trying to do my Eskimo rolls that I told you about, and I still haven't mastered that. And to watch him do that, to get on the water and to lead, he was such an inspiration. And that's why I started my first, I had learned how to kayak and whitewater raft when I was in Colorado, when I was on active duty. But that was the first time me doing it with whitewater, doing it blind.
Well, you guys have to come back. I have to see the videos and the pictures and stuff. People want to see this all over the world. We've being shown. So please.
Yeah.
I've been begging you for the longest, Michelle. Give me some pictures. Give us some video.
It's like,
I guess
Been so
I look
busy.
at it like with us. Sorry, go ahead, Lonnie.
no, go ahead, Michonne, please.
I think when I look at when you say you always want to see something, I think what I do is middle school could compare to when you listen to what Lonnie does.
Yeah,
And
but you being
for
a
the,
woman blind, that's amazing too. Lonnie's a super guy.
yeah, and but when people ask me, you like my first tandem sky jump was this past June, and people like Lonnie's the one who motivated me to do that. I was the
Mhm.
How
only
about the airplane?
Yeah, I was the only blind person out there. Everyone else was quadriplegic, paraplegic, wheelchair bound, and so he paves the way for us
That's amazing.
because
Charles did
yeah,
that also from the wheelchair.
mhm.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean,
That's why I say
we
you
got,
guys are doing real stuff. That little stuff I'm doing is, just little
nah,
me,
it wasn't that's not that airplane, was it?
little
But
bit.
Charles, you just keep moving, Charles. That's the
Oh
key.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he's phenomenal. He does everything himself. He's just being modest.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, kayaking, whitewater, jumping off the Grand Canyon, and I didn't say you didn't exactly jump off, but hey, that's
Yeah.
stuff is good. All I did was a little bitty old skydive and jump off the side of a building. That's nothing. You guys are climbing the walls, and I'm like, so you real heroes.
Yeah, they real heroes. But what you did is exceptional also. You got to show your video one time. I mean, you
I
still
got
out there with the birds and the clouds and the sky, and you in the wheelchair.
Yeah,
The thing too that I think we need to mention in all this stuff though too is the people within all these organizations that take us. I mean,
Yeah, for
we
sure.
simply want somebody to believe in us, and what you guys do, building these homes and for homeless people, just someone to believe in us.
Exactly.
And it's powerful when someone believes in you and raises you up, gives you a hand up, not a hand up, but a hand up. And
That's right.
so I applaud that, and very, very
Yeah.
high.
We just need the help, such as with Calvin and you and others. Because we're just taking on this. God told me to do it, and I ain't ever gonna stop as long as I have breath. But I do need help.
Yeah, I just talking about the roofing. I just did a patch job on I say a patch job. I re-roofed a little section of a house here a few weeks ago by myself, and all my fingertips were bleeding because I had to feel exactly where to place the shingles and use a hammered nail and the nail gun, use all the saws, and like I said, I do anything from framing, sheeting, wiring, roofing, you name
See
it.
that's amazing.
That's you're a real hero.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, hopefully you'll be
pictures here. I have some pictures.
Yeah,
this is like
if you literally go to my website, if you guys will go to my website, lonniebedwell.com, then
I have pictures of you actually here.
Okay.
So it looks like you're crossing a glacier on a little ladder or something. It's like, I mean,
that's on Mount Everest. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, me and Cole don't get together. We don't do
that. I'll give you guys, if you want it, I'll give you a little bit of backstory too.
Please.
Please, buddy. Yeah.
It's like I said, we got that program started out there in Colorado, and after they started the events, we was climbing one of the 14,000 foot peaks out there. I was joined by another blind veteran, Aaron Hale. And after we climbed out there, we decided to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro together, the highest peak in Africa. Wow. And Aaron lost his eyesight due to an IED blast, but just before we were to go over there, he developed spinal meningitis due to his injuries, and it left him not only totally blind, but totally deaf.
Wow.
And the only way we could communicate with him at the time was to spell letter by letter in his hand. And I was on the phone.
I'm coming. I'm finished up a show.
We can hear you, Calvin.
I was on the phone talking to his caregiver while he's lying in his hospital bed. And I told him, I said, you tell Aaron I'm not going to climb Kilimanjaro until he can climb with me. I heard him repeat every letter, every word. And then when he realized what I was saying, he screamed at me. He literally screamed at me. Bedwell, you blankety blank. He said, no, 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 no. He said, you climb it for me, you climb it for us, you climb it for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I was stunned. So I went over there to climb. And when I got to the top, I told everyone I was climbing with. I was the only blind person climbing at that time. I said, I got to get to the top and get 2 little rocks, one for Aaron to mail back to him, and another one for one of those veterans I met at Hines the first time I was there to mail back to them. And we got to the top, and I mailed those rocks back. As I stood up there, said, someone told me, said, Lonnie, hold out your hand, you know. And then Steve Baskus, the other blind veteran, help program, asked me to go climb Mount Aconcagua, the highest peak in South America. And while I was down there climbing, there's this gentleman stuck his head in the tent by the name of Michael Neal. He said, you guys are blind, right? Yeah, we're blind. But anyway, when I got to the top of Mount Aconcagua, I reached down and picked up 2 more little rocks again. And after that, I got into a conversation with Don Overton, who's the executive director of the Blinded Veterans Association. And he asked me, he said, Lonnie, I know you do some of this extreme stuff. He said, the next time you do something kind of out there, how about joining with the BVA to bring awareness to the Blinded Veterans Association? And I told him, so that's fine, no problem. I said, I don't have anything lined up at this time. Nothing planned, but I can do that. And 3 days later, I got a phone call from Michael Neal and a guy named Brian Hill, who were at Everest Base Camp. And they said, Lonnie, how about climbing Mount Everest with us? I just lowered my head because I had no desire to ever do it. But I thought, Don just asked me the question, and I said, okay, let's try this. And we went and climbed Mount Denali in Alaska as a warm up, and I reached down, got 2 more little rocks, and then we went to Mount Everest this year. And it was the deadliest, unfortunately, the deadliest year in the history of Everest climbing season. 17 people perished, coldest and windiest, and they said over 30 years. And but I knew as we were pushing up the summit, it was close to Memorial Day. I summited on May the 22nd. And, you know, as I took every step, I wanted to turn around, people going down with frostbite, you know, crossing all these obstacles. Mm-hmm. And these people, they're flying off the mountain, and, you know, there's a perish, some of them, and you know you're going up there. And but, you know, I thought about those guys I bring the rocks to, and I thought about all the sacrifices of everybody, and countless. I mean, I ran so many Michon and all and all of them, and yeah, and I just every person that I could think of that was a disabled veteran, I guarantee I thought about them as I took, you know, don't turn around, you know, take another step, take another step. You know, these very experienced climbers coming down the mountain, you know, telling me they got to within 500 feet of the summit and their eyelids froze shut, or they got severe frostbite, or whatever the case, you know, and think about that, and Calvin, you know, and all, just so many, just, and it's just take another step, Lonnie. And my oxygen mask, you know, we put on supplemental oxygen once we got up so high, and my oxygen mask failed, and I was probably 750 vertical feet from the top, about 4 hours. And it's take another step, take another step, take another step. But we were fortunate enough to make it. And when I, you know, got to the top, I reached down, I picked up some more little rocks. And, you know, when you do things for more reasons than yourself, and like I said, I truly do. I push myself to these limits because of the sacrifices so many made for me to have the right and the freedom to go do this. I'm going to give them my all. I might not succeed. And there's been numerous times I haven't reached the, you know, the top, if you will, or that succeeded on some of these things, if you will. But yet I can guarantee you I'm going to give you my all, because all of you give me your all. And you deserve nothing less.
Well, you're so sweet. I mean, you're just amazing. And some of the things that you're sharing with us is similar to Operation Confidence. You know, we're out here for a purpose. As I shared in my introduction, I'm not a veteran, but my heart just broke and I seen them sleeping in wheelchairs on the streets, you know. And ever since then, I've had to do my part. It's been over a decade, you know, ran into a lot of obstacles, but I still won't stop, you know. And then I meet people like Calvin and you and others, and I got this amazing board. And Mashawn, she's just precious. So, you know, I'm surrounded with heroes, you know what I'm saying? So that gives me the strength. But we really, really appreciate your presentation and what you've done. And I know it's all because the man upstairs, right? Just making you do it. I already know he's my leader too, you know.
A blind person alone cannot do what we have done.
No, no.
But what can we not do if we will simply help each other?
Right.
That's it.
That's
The unlimited potential in all of us, you know. And I tell people I'm a huge acronym person, and I tell people the way to overcome adversity, you know, the ADVERSITY. To break it down, the A and the D is the hardest part, like the first step up a mountain or first paddle stroke through a rapid. The acknowledging the differences and the difficulties is always the hardest part. Acknowledge it. Don't compare it. Don't dismiss it. Acknowledge it. Because once you acknowledge it, it empowers you to do the VER. Visualize every route you can take. And then it gives you the S, the strength to stand up and step to the ITY into your future, and that life you can live. And, you know, I think 3 emotions keep us from doing that acknowledging thing. I call them emotions: foolish pride, fear, and pity. None of us have ever got to where we're at in life without somebody helping us, teaching us, guiding us along the way. None of us.
right.
And there's nothing wrong with being proud of things you do, but when your pride gets to be so foolish that you cannot humble yourself enough to accept the hand up or to face that fear, FEAR, false evidence about reality. You know, well, they're going to make fun of me if I can't do it on my own. They're going to think I'm weak. They're going to think I'm useless. If they're going to think whatever, or I might get hurt, or I might this, or I might that. You know, it's, oh no, most of the time people want to help you. Most of the time you're not going to get hurt. You know, you take your chances. And then it leads to the worst one of all, the pity, PITY, which I like to say is poor information to yourself. Oh, you're useless because you're blind? No, you're useless because you have no self-worth, you have no value, you have no purpose. That's not true. Whatever makes you feel so sorry for yourself that you don't move forward, that's not good. And
Right.
and others, there's nothing wrong with us having compassion for each other, but we can't pity one another.
That's right.
That stops us. So anyway, that's
Well, you're gonna make us all cry over here, but
Question for Lonnie.
Hey, that's real though.
But that's so real what he's saying. That's for sure. And it's
Matt
just,
had something to say.
Matt, you have something to say?
Yeah, I have a question for Lonnie. Lonnie, I love to read about exceptional human beings. I understand that you have a book out. I would like to know the title of it and the publisher.
Well, the title of it, like I said in the intro, is 226-mile Grand Canyon Adventure. It's either listed that way or 226, How I Become the First Blind Person to Kayak the Grand Canyon. And it's really a kind of a quasi-autobiography. It talks a little bit of stories of me growing up, a few little stories about the time in the military, the accident in more detail, recovery story with my daughters helped me, and culminates with the first trip down the Grand Canyon. And it became an Amazon bestseller, and you can buy it on Amazon. And for those people who are blind or visually impaired, you can listen to it for free on the Bard mobile app, which I think most people don't know what Bard is. So
I will definitely be ordering one of these.
Can you tell us what BARD is for those listeners? We have not everybody's watching. We have listeners.
Right.
So tell us what BARD means.
help me out, Michonne and Calvin. Blind, I can't remember exactly what it stands for. It's through the National Library of Congress, and
Well,
it's free. It's free books for blind adaptive.
Calvin, you and Mashad are muted. Well, Mashad's unmuted.
Go ahead, Calvin, because he's muted. He was trying to talk.
Calvin's talking, but he's being muted.
You're muted, Calvin. He'll get it. Okay, here we
But
go.
I can add to it is because it's the book, like my mind, it escapes me too exactly what the acronym stands for, but it is for the Library of Congress, and they put the books on tape for you and if you're blind, you can you have an account where you can log on and listen to the books instead of having to read them. You can get them on tape. You can download them to your phone. You can download them to other audio devices. When one of them we have is called a Victor Reader. You can do that and download and listen to the books like that. But I did wanted to say, if anyone was asking, also I did go on Amazon and get your book, Lonnie. And for those who were questioning, I think that it was $14.99 for the paperback version of it. So the price is very reasonable. But that I'll think about Bard probably after we get off the phone. But that's what it's basically an audio program for disabled.
Okay, that's wonderful. We want to get it too. We have to listen to that amazing story. Yeah, you back, Calvin? There you go.
I'm back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You're fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I had some background stuff going on, but I just wanted to, Lonnie, I want to tell you it's absolute pleasure to hear your story. And like Consuelo said, I'm over here practically in tears. So I think we should all, you deserve accolades, Lonnie. You're an inspiration for me. And I really appreciate the friendship.
Yeah, well, I appreciate yours as well. I truly do. And like I said,
and I'm so honored to have both of you, and all of you.
And that's the thing too. So many of these associations, they work together, and when I think about like Calvin and Sean, and when people get introduced to things like this, look where it takes them. I mean, Michonne, look where she's at now within the association, and Calvin helping so many others just by simply getting introduced to this stuff. And it's like, okay, I'm going to pay it forward, and that's exactly what we're after. Just pay it forward, right. And it's just amazing.
Before you leave, tell us about your daughters.
But before you do that, let me just say this because I have it now. What BARD is, I just looked it up. It's the free Braille and audio reading download service for active talking book patrons with the National Library Service for the blind and print disabled. And so, so if anyone who's listening, if they want to get these books, you can go to the www.ilbph.org. That's www.ilbph.org, and they will that's where you can get all that information about the blind books and everything. So, and again, excuse me for interrupting.
No, that was important.
Yeah, thank you, Charles.
That was very important. So tell us about your babies.
Yeah, there's a story in there in that book about they're the ones that really helped me a couple of months after I lost my eyesight to really put my feet on the ground. And I'm not going to go into that because I want you guys to read it in the book. But,
okay, well, just a little bit. I'm a mom too. I would like to hear about kids.
But they truly were the ones. Well, when I first lost my eyesight, these adults were saying no, 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 and my girls were saying, well, go, go, go. And they did that. They made me realize, I was still daddy. I still could. And they were the ones that really started helping. Then the adults came on board, and it just went from there. It's like, okay, do this. I helped coach their softball teams, taught them how to drive, like I said, hunt and fish, and even though it's blind, and they enjoyed it. And now they're all three married. All of them have 2 kids apiece. My oldest
Oh,
lives
you
in
got
Richmond.
some grandbabies, huh?
Oh yeah. My oldest one lives in Richmond, Virginia. My middle one lives a couple of, about 6 miles from here. And my youngest one lives about an hour and a half from here. And yeah, proud of all of them.
That's so wonderful.
They're special. And they get on me all the time,
Working too hard. Huh?
yeah, why don't you treat us like you do these grandkids?
Oh,
I said, suck it up. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, they're all
That's
special.
wonderful.
So with all of this, I know you talked about a lot of things. So what is your average day like, what?
My average day, like, I get up usually 4 or 5 days a week. I'll get up of a morning. I'll get on a Peloton bike and do 45 minutes, hour on a Peloton bike. And then I'll get on a total gym or something, do some workout there, or squats or weights, or get a little stepping machine, and I get on occasionally. And I'll start my morning out with a couple hours of, exercise or workout or whatever. And sometimes I'll end up going up to the little restaurant with my dad for breakfast, and then we'll go out to the woods and, do a little hiking, or, we cleared some trails. We cleared about a half mile of, he wanted to trail through some of the woods. He's got property down here. And so with axes and chainsaws and shovels, we was, cutting trees and digging stumps, and, just kind of known as a little handyman around here. I'll go around and help do occasionally do stuff to help neighbors do stuff. I spend I'll walk down to my pond and do a little fishing and that kind of stuff.
You had a pond right there to go fishing?
Yeah.
What kind of fish?
Yeah, bass, bluegill, crappie, and catfish.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Go down there and do that, and I do a little hunting. But I spend a lot of time traveling now, get to events, and I do speaking engagements. I'll go around and do speaking engagements, motivational, inspirational speaking engagements a lot. I just got back, from matter of fact, in Tennessee. I was down in Knoxville, Tennessee. I know Calvin did that. I spoke for literally for a woman's executive women's association group down there, and then I went and did a presentation at a local school for kids with disabilities, and then I went and did a presentation for some inner city youth.
Right.
So just the whole gamut.
Well, we're going to get you to come to Los Angeles, and we have to put something together so you can have this presentation to be able to help the blind veterans here in LA, California.
Yes, and so what I'd like to know also is to walk me through this thing where you say you're on top of a roof, by yourself, putting the, what do you have to guide you, or
where you don't fall off.
Yeah,
Well,
you can talk about, is that in the book?
I can't remember, to be honest. There's a few little stories of doing stuff in the book, I think, about stuff like that. But I've been told I need to write another one. But no,
interesting. So
yeah, I've literally, like I said, I've built decks myself. I built a little. Couple of my favorite stories is I built this little 12 by 20 shed one time. This has been years ago. Built it all, framed it, put the sheeting on it, the siding, roofed it, the whole 9 yards, did it all. And it's kind of new at it. So I didn't do the fascia on the gable ends. I had a barn style roof, so I put a loft in it. So I did all that, and I told someone come in and finish, doing that fascia on the end, because everyone will see that. I don't know that I can do that. It won't take them 30 minutes to do. Well, they got someone in that had eyesight to do that, and when they asked the homeowner, said, "Why didn't they finish it?" And said, "Oh, he's blind." They said he went around with the tape measure, the level, making sure, just shook his head, didn't charge him a dime to finish it, to do that. But and yeah, then I did a deck with, went across the whole backside of 70 foot across the back of a house, 30 foot out, and then stepped down and wrapped around the swimming pool. And
it sounds beautiful. But I'm still concerned about this roof and you not
Yeah.
falling off.
Yeah, and okay, but on the roof, I just get up there. I mean, I just kind of find the edges and feel my way around. And
Oh,
when I work, go ahead.
Then how do you know where to place whatever it is that needs to be,
the
shingle.
yeah,
With your new
a
shingle.
complete job. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a talking tape measure, so I can measure across and cut the shingles, to off. Usually you're cutting off like 6 inches or 6.5 inches off of each shingle as you stair step it up the roof, but your architectural shingles, that's pretty much what they are now. They don't have what they call the old 3 tabs, so you don't have to worry about lining up vertical lines anymore. You're just lining up more horizontally across the roof, and I just literally feel it. I just place the shingle, and and nail them on. You can feel the ridge line on the shingle, and know where to nail them. Above that, just above that little ridge, if you will, on the shingle.
right.
And usually I wind nail them, put about 6 nails in each shingle, and then place the next one on top of it and just fill it. Then after I can use a nail gun or hammer and nail, either way. And then after I place it and nail it, I have to feel to make sure I got the nails seated. And then once I'm getting close to the ridge, what I'll do is I'll go to the ridge and I'll measure down to the top of the shingles that went all the way across the roof. And if I have to adjust as I'm coming up the peak, what I'll do is I'll run a string all the way across the roof. I'll put a nail in place and run a string all the way across and just, it's.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then too, Lonnie, on architectural shingles, you don't have to worry about keyways.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just,
Guess who knows how to put on a roof?
definitely doable.
Right.
Yours truly. I know how to do that as well.
Yeah, cool.
You guys later.
Once upon a time, I had to. My daughter and I got up on that roof. We couldn't afford a roof, but I had already been volunteer with Habitat for Humanities, and we had put on a lot of roofs. I was able to go up there with my little tool belt on there, and we put a nice roof. Everybody drive down the street and say, "Oh my goodness, look at that!" But we were there. It was great, and it never did leak.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's the main thing, right?
Yeah.
Laugh at it. Yeah.
I crack me up too. I've been asked, I tell this sometimes in my presentations, I usually tell the story, but one of my favorite things I've been asked so many times now by people who see me on a roof for the first time and realize I'm blind. They always ask, Lonnie, what are you doing on a roof?
I know.
My standard answer now is, I'm on a roof.
There you go. Shake them up a little bit. What?
Well, you got to please come back, Lonnie. I mean, it's been such
good stuff.
We can't thank our buddy Calvin enough for having you on as our guest. And I know that my buddy there over there in the corner there being all quiet, Matt, you have anything else you want to say to Lonnie before he sign off?
I just want to say how much I appreciate him, and so happy I was here to listen to him and to learn from him.
Right. Your first
day
day
good
back.
care, Lonnie.
Thank you all. Thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah, we love you, Lonnie, and don't let this be your last time. We really need your inspiration, and hopefully you'll come back on, and even under Calvin have a segment. We really like to have it.
We'd like to come back and see us.
More motivational speaking.
We want to hear. Next thing you'll be back, you'd be like, well, what I did was I built a huge ladder up Mount Rushmore, so all the not as so skilled people can climb up without,
Right. He does some amazing stuff. Calvin, you have anything else to add to it before we move on?
No, I just, again, want to thank everybody for allowing us this opportunity to share these stories and reach out across this great nation of ours and help those veterans that's sitting alone in their homes and You can think it because they're blind, their life is over. Well, it's not over. Get up and come out and play with us. That's all.
And you know what, Calvin, you one of our heroes as well. You and Michelle. I mean, you all are very inspirational. I mean, you have no idea what impact you have on. Well, you can see from the views that you've gotten on the show. You know, then I shared that with you. You know, people are listening.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, thank you.
So you all are doing something outstanding. Please, I mean, I know you're busy, and Mashad, and so is Lonnie. Definitely need you on our team. Help us with our housing project. And I look forward to you coming out. Whenever you get a chance, let me know so I'll have somewhat of an entourage waiting for you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We'll all be there waiting for you.
All right.
So we're gonna move right along here. You got any more to say, Charles, before we?
No, we're good. You know, this is great information.
Wasn't it wonderful?
We need to let people know if they want to
how we contact you all. I know. Well, give us yours, Ani, and then from there, Calvin and Mashad, please, your contact information. We have to repeat it a couple of times because we're not only being viewed, but we have listeners all over the nation.
Yeah, you can, like I said, I can be contacted through my website at LonnieBedwell.com, LonnieBedwell.com, and email is LonnieBedwell.com, and then also email is lonnie.r.bedwell@att.net. It's LonnieR.Bedwell@att.net. LonnieR.Bedwell@att.net.
Okay, that's wonderful. And Calvin, you and Michelle have any information you want to give out and your contact information?
My contact information is telephone number 901-304-7440, TASAweb.org, TASAWEB.org. Can be contacted there.
Repeat it, please, a couple more times.
Telephone number 901-304-7440, and the website is TASAweb.org, TASAWEB.org. Okay,
and you, Michelle?
Okay, and first I also wanted to say I just added something to my bucket list. I want to learn how to put on a roof on that doesn't leak. So I have a bucket.
Right,
so that's on my bucket list now.
I can show you that.
That's what I'm challenging you to show me.
But that's right. You brought it up. You brought it up, so that's right, Michelle. Don't let it get away.
Michelle, it's kind of easy. I was surprised.
Okay, but my cell phone is it's area code 703-868-7883. Again, it's 703-868-7883.
One more before you leave, then sign off and we move on. Michelle, you haven't told us anything about who you are. I mean, this is an amazing individual. She's sitting there all quiet and look at the little modest face. This woman does some amazing things. Come on, girlfriend, tell us about who you are.
Well, I'm currently
starting with the dogs and whole bit.
Yeah, I'm currently I work a lot with the Blinded Veterans Association, my local Lions Club, and my and the local DAV, which is the Disabled American Veterans. I'm currently the president for the Mid-Atlantic Regional Group here in Virginia, and also I'm the chair for the Dog Handlers Group for the Blinded Veterans Association. I just dropped off being on the Women's Committee, but now I'm on the Membership Committee, helping, and I'm also an ambassador for our region. And I didn't know Lonnie's daughter lived here near me in Richmond, and that's where I go to my I do a lot of my stuff down in Richmond at the Richmond VA. Um, I'm about to go to the Winter Sports Clinic. I just got accepted to the Winter Sports Clinic, and unlike Lonnie, I haven't mastered the diamonds or the black. I'm still at the blue and the green. So that's my challenge, to move up a little bit further. I'm just spend most of my days volunteering and helping other veterans and doing claims and in the women's group and things like that. Just normal, just me, regular old me. So
You know what? We really want a women's group on the show. Can you help us with that?
most definitely, we have a lot of
That's so important. I mean, we always give some of our information about women veterans, but we haven't had very many to come on the show. So if you could help us with that end of it, I'd like to point
we
you.
can definitely do that.
All right. Before we go on to Taylor, we're gonna have, speaking of women, I'm gonna show you this little video, our boots and gents, and then we'll go on to Taylor, right?
Right.
Okay. Hold on here.
A women's group.
But this is just about
It's only a second.
yeah.
Combat boots and lace. And it's all female veterans. Concentrate on veteran women over 50. Put up a forgotten group. And for more information, we encourage you to contact info@operationconfidence.org. Then we have a distinguished gentlemen's group. We literally mentor for our veterans, as well as participate in national shows. So we have blind veterans and wheelchair and bridge veterans, and you name it, it's in there. So that's the same as the address, info@operationconfidence.org. So moving right along, Taylor.
Yes, ma'am. So accessible sidewalk issues for those with disabilities, including the blind and
what is it you said? Yes.
accessible sidewalk issues for those with disabilities, including the blind and those in wheelchairs. So what are the most common ways which sidewalks are inaccessible to people with disabilities? Sidewalk barriers can impact people differently depending on their physical, cognitive, and sensory abilities. For wheelchair users, common problems include the absence of steep street gradients, cross slopes, or sidewalk tilts, surface problems such as degraded concrete or pavement, and other obstacles. These problems may be temporary, like car parked on sidewalks, bike shares blocking access, garbage cans, or more infrastructural and permanent, like telephone poles, fire hydrants, and electrical boxes. For persons who are blind or have low vision, crossing the street can be challenging. Curb ramps require tactile surface indicators, and pedestrian signals need audio options. Tripping hazards or unexpected barriers that are not easily observed with a cane are also problematic. For others, the lack of appropriate signs and crosswalks can reduce safety or cause confusion. Regardless of specific mobility needs, from the pushing strollers to bicycle, poorly designed or maintained sidewalks create safety hazards, impact physical movement, and reduce the quality of life. So, how do you see accessible sidewalk contributing to more inclusive cities? Well, sidewalks play a crucial role in urban mobility and quality of life. Ideally, sidewalks provide a safe space for pedestrians, help interconnect mass transit services, and serve as unique public spaces for food, commerce, and leisure. Without accessible sidewalks and accessible transit, a city excludes where and how people can travel. So, How has sidewalk accessibility become more urgent given climate change? Walking, rolling, and bicycling are the most environmentally sustainable forms of transportation and also connect pedestrians to mass transit. As the United Nations New Urban Agenda emphasizes, modern cities need well-designed sidewalks, not just for equitability and walkability, but to support local commerce and efficient transit. Connecting sidewalk accessibility to cities' economic interests, including commerce and sustainability, can show a bottom line impact for safer sidewalks and prompt walkability, rollability improvement. So to learn more about this topic, you can go to Sustainable Cities newsletter. Again, that's Sustainable Cities newsletter, or you can follow them at WVG_cities on Twitter. And I also have a video pulled up to kind of,
And Twitter is now called X.
or X, excuse me, yeah, X. Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter. So I'm going to share my screen.
Could easily trip over this. Oh, I hit it just even passing it and I can see it. All of a sudden you're gonna run into this fence and that sure isn't gonna be pleasant.
My name's Angela and I'm a visually impaired designer. If you like this video, please subscribe below. Accessible sidewalks. Hey everyone, hope you're all doing okay and that you're able to find some peace and normality in this time with COVID-19. I know that it's been stressful for me and I always feel kind of on edge, but I'm trying to find ways to normalize this new staying at home and not being able to go out when I want to. One of the main things that I've been doing, even though I'm supposed to stay home, I utilize my backyard and my front porch in areas where I'm still isolated, but I'm outside getting fresh air. I also try to go on at least one walk a day and get out in my neighborhood. As I've been going on walks lately, I've noticed that my city has been working on making our sidewalks more accessible to people with disabilities. But not all of the sidewalks are accessible, and it can be very challenging for people to even just go on a stroll, or even worse when they're trying to get from point A to point B and it's their only way of getting around. This is what I want to talk to you about today. I've noticed no matter where I have lived, there's always been problems with the sidewalks. It doesn't matter how old the city is or how new it is. And in a lot of places that I've traveled to, I've also noticed that there are issues with sidewalks everywhere. All right, let's talk about sidewalks for a minute. So what might seem like the most obvious group of people who are affected by poorly designed or not kept up to ADA guidelines sidewalks would be someone in a wheelchair. And this is a very, very big problem. If there are sidewalks that don't have curb cuts at all, this really makes it impossible for someone in a wheelchair to go up or down the street. And that is just not fair that they aren't able to get around. Sometimes the only option in a wheelchair is to travel on the street instead of the sidewalk, because then you don't have to worry about going up and down, especially when there aren't places that you can go up or down on the sidewalk. And this definitely isn't a safe way to travel around when you have to be in the street instead of on the sidewalk. Clearly we have sidewalks so that we aren't on the same pavement as cars are. People in wheelchairs aren't the only people being affected by poor sidewalks. There are also parents with strollers who are trying to get around. If someone has a shopping cart or any other type of cart or something with wheels that they're trying to push around. If someone is carrying something heavy and they can't see what's in front of them, or they're holding a child in their arm and they trip over a little ledge because it's higher than it should be, it's not level, that can be troubling. And there are also people with walkers and canes and people who don't have full movement in their legs, and they might not be able to lift their leg up to go up and down the curbs. And there's so many other people who suffer from poor sidewalks. Now, I know that a lot of these examples I'm sharing are permanent situations that the government and local leaders should be really dealing with, but there are also situations that the individual can help improve the sidewalks. For example, having obstacles on the sidewalk, such as a bike or toys, garbage cans, having bushes that you haven't trimmed, or flowers, or any type of obstacle that extrudes into the sidewalk. Not shoveling or raking leaves that are on a sidewalk, or removing any type of debris that would go on your sidewalk. A fence gate being left open, anything like that will prevent the sidewalk from being accessed like normal. A big issue while I was living in Seattle was people who would leave rideshare bikes in the middle of the sidewalk instead of putting it to the side. This makes it inaccessible to people who are in wheelchairs and people who have visual impairments. It's also important, if you're going to use any type of signage, say you're having a yard sale and you put up a sign on your sidewalk, or if you're a business and you have signs on the sidewalk inviting people to come in, or patio furniture or anything like that, that you make sure it's out of the way so that people can use the sidewalk as they're supposed to. As someone who's visually impaired, I know that people with visual impairments struggle with sidewalks that are poor. Whether that is the lack of tundral domes that are on the corner of the streets to help a visually impaired person know that they've reached a corner and the street will begin if they continue to walk, or if there's large cracks or broken cement in the middle of the sidewalk, this could make them trip or even fall over their cane and make it difficult for them to get around. I'm going to take you out on the streets and show you a couple of examples. So let's go.
So this segment of the sidewalk is right by an assisted living center. It looks like they're going to fix it, so that's great. But it definitely is not ideal for a wheelchair or people with mobility disabilities. Someone using a cane. Look at these huge crevices. Sidewalks that are uneven from every segment or block can be troublesome. These all have a pretty significant ledge on them. Could easily.
So I think, honestly, I can attest to that if I'm rolling on the sidewalk or any place. I have to be very mindful.
You're a wheelchair user, so you know.
I am a wheelchair user. I can't find my pictures right now. I don't know.
I've actually tripped on a sidewalk that had cracks, you know, like big San Andreas fault cracks too. You know, it's like me and this was 20-something. I was pushing down the sidewalk and I hit a crack and went flying out of my chair like Superman. You know.
Really? Wow. How long ago was that?
25 years ago or so.
Were you hurt badly? Quite sure you were.
You know, I'm always falling on Sunday. Last week I fell out of my chair. I was sitting at this, but it was, you know, I was at a place and somebody came by and I was like talking to someone and somebody came by in a wheelchair, so I backed up. We backed up to let them go by. I was right at the edge of the sidewalk and there was about a 5-inch drop. And I saw somebody, hey, long time came. Next thing you know, I'm gracefully falling backwards, you know, but I didn't get hurt, you know. I hit a rock too in my head. I had a little soreness, but you know, I didn't get hurt. I'm used to falling out of my chair. But that, you know, that one there, you know, pushing down the side, especially like back south and you know, a lot of places.
Yeah,
they don't take care of their, when you're in the, you know, in the smaller cities, they don't take care of their sidewalks and things like the big, you know, here.
New Orleans, I was there several years ago. It was terrible. You know, I mean, they literally had sandbags thrown on the curb for you to have a curb lift.
Yeah,
I mean, terrible.
It's you know, it's I mean, they're doing better, and then I've also. I was brought this to the attention of the city of Long Beach. There was a pole, literally like you know, going to the beach access, So they had steps going down, but if you're in a wheelchair, you couldn't go down the steps. So you had to take the sidewalk. Well, lo and behold, when you get about maybe 60 feet down the way, there's a sign on the sidewalk, and there's not enough room for a wheelchair to squeeze by. And so that means, somebody like me, I'm just gonna hop the curb and get on the street. Well, that was problematic, and they fixed it. They changed it. They took and widened the sidewalk, because I was like, I mean, who come, whose idea is this to do this thing? And nobody had complained, I don't think. And it's like,
That's
but
terrible.
and so little things like that, I see things like this all the time. It's and I'm an advocate for, just because people in wheelchairs, and there are a lot of problems that
Visually impaired too.
visually impaired. I mean, it's like the people who are when they don't have somebody who's a user on the council or the committee or whoever's the planning, then they miss a lot of things. And so that's this video is spot on about the disabled and the people who can't, the blinded people. It happens a lot more than you think. I mean, it's way worse than we really know. In other words,
Right.
it
Well,
needs more
before we
attention.
close out, we want to say a little bit about baby girl. She sits there very precious, very modest. I had wanted Lonnie to hear about her story as well, but he's gone. But baby girl, I always call her that.
Baby girl.
So she blushes. But Taylor, tell us a little bit about who you are. Where do you work?
Well, like
You have to
Connie
vi-
said, I'm Taylor. Huh?
Speak up, because some of the pictures they can't see.
Okay. Like Connie said, I'm Taylor. I work for on a military installation in the mental health clinic, where I am like dual hatted. So I'm a pseudo provider for mental health, and then I work on the family advocacy side. So I assist in domestic violence cases against intimate partners and children. So yeah, it's been
This picture is with who? You have to share what's the
this picture. Oh, they're not here. This was a picture, was it of some of our group, our med group, airmen. And so a lot of these individuals in this picture have since gone on and, either become full birds or colonels and majors and doing amazing things across the globe. And I was just grateful to be a part of this. So how I ended up here was working with Connie when I was in undergrad at CSUN. It was just by chance, and we connected, and from there we just never, we just
Never been
keep
separated.
going, never been separated.
That's what, over 10, 15 years ago. She was a real baby girl.
Connie.
Real baby girl then.
So yeah, I think just her exposing me to military veterans and things like that, I developed a desire and a wanting to help out in any way. And my uncle, being a veteran from Vietnam, he has since passed. It's kind of my contribution, my thank you for his service. From there, I decided to go back to school for my master's. In May, I will be graduating with that. And again, it'll be working with active duty members. I'm Miss Wheelchair California 2017. That organization is to promote advocacy for women, women who are wheelchair users, and just, disrupt the status quo and make our voices stronger and louder. Say, hey, these are our wants and needs and desires, and we're gonna have to make it work. And so that's kind of a brief spiel of who I am and what I do and my goals. So yeah.
And after that, she gets her master's, as she said, and then she's going for a doctorate. So when she come back, we'll be able to say, Dr. Baby Girl.
Dr. Baby Girl. Dr. Baby Girl.
Yeah, well, we thank you so much. And we're getting ready to wind down the show. Yeah, I do know we have some other bits of information, but we'll use that for next week. But dear heart, Matt, you have anything you want to say before we start closing out the show?
I'm just happy to be back and want to send out love and a happy Veterans Day to all.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, you won't be back here on Veterans Day, which is next week, but you'll send something in maybe so from your book so we can quote it. Can you do that?
Okay, I will do that.
Great. And mention you about your book. You never said a word about your book, Matt. He also has a book.
But Matt's like, that's nothing, he's like the rest of us, oh, we don't do nothing,
And you just became tell us about all that, Matt. Something just happened too.
What about the book?
Yeah, and then also you were going to be given an award.
Well, what the most recent thing is that an article is being published in the next issue of TAPS magazine. That's TAPS magazine. And that's coming out soon.
Your face.
That's one I emailed to you, Connie.
Yeah, right. Lift your head up a little bit, friend. Lift your head a little bit. We can only see your hat.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. and what is that all about?
It's about when I was a coordinator for incarcerated veterans in a program called Incarcerated Veterans Transition Program. Mm-hmm. And I worked with veterans there, helping them to prepare for successful release from prison.
Right.
And one of the veterans I became very good friends with was a World War II veteran. And he was served in the invasion of Iwo Jima. And he tells his story, which is remarkable. And that's what's in the magazine. And it's a picture of him signing a lithograph of the raising the flag on Mount Suribachi in Iwo Jima. Wow. Anyway, it's about him and some of the other veterans that I've served in prison.
And what's the name of your book and where can it be found?
Lost and Found. It's on Amazon, just like Lonnie's book, and it's also on Barnes and Noble.
Right. And
Lost and Found.
Real quick, what's the introduction? What's the book about?
It's essays and poetry, and it goes back. It covers periods in New York City and Los Angeles and Kansas City and in Ireland, all over the place.
Oh, wow.
But it's essays and poetry.
Well, we're so proud of you too, Matt. You've come a long way and amazing. Next week what we're going to show for Veterans Day is a show that we did at the historical sports arena that you and I put together by ourselves. And you were amazing. We got all branches of the military to participate as far as what would you call that when they did the drill? And it was all uniform together.
There was homeless veterans from New Directions had a drill team.
Drill team.
Yeah, drill team. And it was all branches though. It was like what? How many, Charles, you were there?
It was like a lot of people.
I remember you, Charles.
And at that very same, right across the way, they had Kobe Bryant had some kind of they had another event going on right next to it. So
right.
There was a lot of people. This was at the sports arena before they tore it down. So
right, a lot of people came to our event. It was very successful. So anyway, Tay, do you want to wind this on out? Matt, we were so happy to have you stay around, and Calvin and Mashab, thank you so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate you guys. You're wonderful, and you're one of us too. You're one of us now. So take us on out, Taylor.
Let me show my funny clip though. I got it.
You're gonna show it now? Okay, go ahead.
hold me a funny clip, you know. It's like, you know, it's very
You
short.
always have to show a funny clip, Michelle.
Uh-huh. Miss Shaw, you like this stuff. Like, see, she be laughing before they come on.
You know, you kind of cuckoo anyway, huh, Michelle?
That's all right. I'm happy that I'm proud to say I'm cuckoo. You know,
Yeah, we're proud to have you, cuckoo.
just call me the Charlie Clock. I'm cuckoo.
So silly.
Let's
But
see.
what's taking so long? You're supposed to have it up.
And right there, you know, just hold up. You know, it's coming. All right, here we go. All right. So the poor dog did the pig wrong, you know.
That was
Can you explain it for Calvin to know what
Yeah,
happened?
yeah. So what it is a there's a dog. They give him a waffle. One half of it is burnt and the other half isn't. So the dog looks and you know it's okay. He takes the burnt piece and he turns around. You think he gonna take the burnt piece, but he drops it on the right there in the floor. There's a pig down there, and he gives it to the pig. So the
and he
pig
hit
got
the
the
pig
burnt.
on the head.
Yeah, patted him on the head like, "Good, there you go, you good." You know, because the pig can eat anything, right? So,
Right.
so
And
the
he
dog
came back and ate the rest of
they
it. The
got the good part, yeah. So that's for you, listen. So anyway, all right,
Okay.
it's on you.
All right. So take us out, Taylor.
Before Ms. Connie closes the show, I would like to encourage our viewers and listeners to visit the Operation Confidence resource page on our website at www.operationconfidence.org. Again, www.operationconfidence.org for some amazing resources. Also, we would like to inform everyone about Operation Confidence Positive Redirection Team. It's a group of male and female veterans who are mentors having overcome similar challenges and situations transitioning back into mainstream society. To be connected or become a team member, email us at info@operationconfidence.org. Again, info@operationconfidence.org.
Okay. And we always want to remind our viewers and listeners that the goals for the show is to raise awareness about Operation Confidence and its mission, which is to provide stable housing for veterans, especially those with a disability and have experienced homelessness. So we ask you to please get involved with our grassroots efforts by sending an email to info@operationconfidence.org. That's info@operationconfidence.org. And we want to let all of our listeners and viewers know that we are so proud of how we're climbing up the ladder. Our little show, although it's kind of laid back and cuckoo and funny, but informative, we have over 170,000 views on YouTube. That's so exciting. We're getting there. And as far as subscribers, we want to thank everyone. We have over 100. We have 1,336 thousand subscribers. So we getting there. And in closing, we want to let everyone know that Operation Confidence Invisible Heroes is streaming on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, as well as Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. We have our own Instagram and on our Operation Confidence Google blog. So please turn back on next Sunday. We'll be on, and don't forget that's Veterans Day. So we're excited. We're going to have a lot of things to share with you about, and also some of the free services that they're going to have in the community for our veterans. And Matt, you're going to send us some stuff over as well, huh?
That's
so we
right.
can share it. Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful things out there that our veterans will be able to get next week. So we want to say goodbye, and I want to thank Calvin and Mashad, and especially him bringing on our wonderful guest, Lonnie. He's gone now, but let him know that how much we appreciate him, and that we'll be back next week, God willingly. Okay? Thank you, everybody.
The video
Bye.
for you.
Hmm? You got did you do your fingers?
I
Okay,
got yeah, I did the finger thing. We're gonna do the exit bit, Mashawn
okay.
over like, go on, come on, Google, what you call me, cuckoo. Come on,
Yeah, that's
cuckoo, man.
cuckoo. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna show the
All right.
video and then we'll
Thank
see you guys.
you. See you later.